During last week's Nintendo Direct Mini, Nintendo officially announced that the next character entering the Smash Bros. Ultimate roster will be a fighter from none other than ARMS. Now, as many of you know, I'm a huge fan of the original game. I've clocked over 100 hours into it, and while the game may have felt a little too bare bones for some people, I still adore hopping into parties and playing in my spare time. I was thrilled to find out that the next DLC fighter would be from ARMS, and I'm happy that we're finally getting a first-party DLC character from a franchise that isn't already in Smash. However, this is the first time in Smash history that a new franchise's inclusion has been announced before the fighter originating from it. Was this a way of tempering expectations for the first DLC fighter in Fighter Pass 2? Or is the fighter going to be a character from an ARMS game that isn't already announced, potentially in ARMS 2? The Smash announcement showed off the entire roster of ARMS, and so I wanted to take the time today to individually rank each of the ARMS fighters' chances of being included as the first fighter in Smash Fighter Pass 2. So let's kick things off by talking about the two characters that I think are least likely to be included as the ARMS rep in Super Smash Bros. And those two are Bite and Bark and Mechanica. Now, keep in mind, I like both of these characters. This is not me saying, oh, if you're a fan of these characters, like, how could you possibly want them in Smash? No, not at all. I like them both. I'd be happy with their inclusion in Smash Bros, but I think both of them are just too different from the main roster of ARMS to be considered as the main ARMS representative. If you've played the original ARMS game, then you know that Bite and Bark have this tag team mechanic in which Bite will punch at characters and Bark sort of runs around the stage and does an auto attack every time that you punch. And while that could be something really cool to put in Smash, I think there's already so much going on with including an ARMS character that to put that extra layer of complexity on it would maybe be a little too much. Mechanica, on the other hand, is in a mech, and I feel like they're probably going to want a character that actually extends a limb as opposed to being a character inside of a mech that extends their limbs. But moving on from Bite and Bark and Mechanica, the other two characters that I think are least likely to be included as the Smash DLC would be Lola Pop and Mishima. Both of these characters were not in the original roster of ARMS. They were added later on as updates, and while I personally love Lola Pop, I regularly play as Lola Pop in ARMS when I turn the game on, I just don't think either of them really have enough going for them to be included as the ARMS rep. Again, their designs are really cool, but they don't have the same OG factor that some of the original roster characters do, and I just think there are even other update characters that have a deeper connection to the lore of the ARMS franchise than these two, so I think they'll actually be thrown to the wayside in favor of someone else. And that someone else could be Dr. Coil, who was the last character added to the original roster of ARMS. Once again, Coil was an update character, which is why she's so low on this list. However, she has deep connections to the ARMS lore. She's the director of ARMS Labs. She's the creator of Helix, Headlock, Springtron, and the entire Party Crash program. And I feel like they might want to include Dr. Coil if there's some type of story development with her moving into the next ARMS game, but I still don't think that it's very likely that Dr. Coil will be the ARMS representative. So that'll bring us back to three more characters that are all sort of in their own tier right now as original roster characters, but characters that I don't necessarily would be the number one choice as an individual rep from ARMS. And those three characters are Master Mummy, Kid Cobra, and Helix. Now, Helix, much like Lola Pop, is one of my favorite characters in ARMS. I love the way he moves. He reminds me of Flubber. I think he's got a really neat design, and I think it would play extremely uniquely in Smash Bros. But I feel like Helix, Kid Cobra, and Master Mummy still don't really have that recognizability factor that you would need to be the ARMS rep. But with that being said, there is a way that I could see the three of them included as playable characters in Smash, and that would be as part of this next character idea. This is smack dab in the middle of my rankings, and this is actually something that I think is more likely than a lot of people expect. This is the idea of an ARMS character that basically acts like Bowser Jr., a character that summons all of the other characters from ARMS, and you could basically have one character in the background maybe issuing orders to other ARMS characters, and that would be Biff, the announcer from ARMS. Now, obviously, Biff has been in all of the promo material for ARMS. Biff is a character that not a lot of people would be discussing when it comes to the ARMS roster, but he's right there alongside all the other characters when they announced that the next character would be an ARMS fighter. And while Biff never actually fights in ARMS, if they wanted to include all of these unique designs from the original game, they could maybe do it by having Biff in the background and having the character that you actually choose be one of the original roster ARMS characters. Like I said, think of this like a mix of Bowser Jr. and Pokemon Trainer, in which Biff would be in the background in a little announcer's chair, but the character that you would actually play would be one alternate costume of about 8 of them, and each of those alt costumes, which are all pretty much played the exact same way in Smash Bros., would be a different ARMS character from the original game. Now, this next character I'm about to bring up is going to get a lot of people angry, and this, I want to clarify, is not something that I want as the ARMS rep in Smash Bros., but I could see them doing this as a cheeky way of getting around Springman already being an assist trophy. I could see Tron included as the playable ARMS character, and maybe with the trailer, someone summons an assist trophy, Springman hops out of it, and then Springman looks Tron standing right there, and he actually beats up the assist trophy, and he plays exactly like you would imagine Springman playing, and maybe he has this new design where he's got the Smash logo on him, and it's almost like Dr. Coil developed him specifically to be the fighter that could win the Grand Smash Bros. Championship. And that'll bring us to the 6 characters that I believe have a very, very good chance of being included as the ARMS rep in Smash Bros. I think all 6 of these characters are very recognizable, have deep connections to ARMS, have large fan bases, and I think would make great choices for being the ARMS rep in Smash. Now, number 6 is Ninjara. Now, the reason I put Ninjara above other characters like Helix, Kid Cobra, and Master Mummy is that Yabuki has gone on record saying that the ARMS team was very confident about Ninjara's design, that they knew ninjas, and that they liked the character. And I think, honestly, developer likability plays a huge factor in having a character from that developer's franchise being in Smash Bros. I don't care what anybody says, if you look at what happened with Greninja and Incineroar with Pokemon, you'll see that this is definitely something that comes into play when putting in new first-party characters. I mean, look back at the original roster for Smash Bros. Ultimate. Most of the internet believed the next Pokemon fighter would be Decidueye. It's a grass type, it would make sense. We already have a fire type and a water type, but who do we get? Incineroar. And why is that? Because Masuda and Japan love Incineroar. If Sakurai went to Yabuki-san and the rest of the ARMS team and said, hey, we want to include an ARMS rep in Super Smash Bros. As one of the next DLC fighters, who are your favorite characters? And they said Ninjara, I wouldn't be surprised if Sakurai included Ninjara. But with that being said, there are 5 other characters that I actually think have a better shot than Ninjara. And coming in at number 5 is Max Brass. Now, first off, just based on his design alone, he already looks like he'd have a grudge match against Captain Falcon. And additionally, Max Brass is a really important character to the original ARMS. He is seen as the greatest champion in the history of the ARMS Grand Prix, and he serves as the final boss of Grand Prix mode in all the lower difficulties. He is the one character that, despite your love of any of the characters in the roster, everybody eventually comes in contact with. And so I still think that even though he was added as playable in a later update, he is still one of those original iconic ARMS characters, and I think he has a really great shot of being included in Smash. And due to his role as the final boss in Grand Prix mode, I also believe that his final smash is pretty much set in stone. If Max Brass is included as a playable character, I would put good money on the idea that his final smash would include Headlock. Now, as many of you know if you played ARMS, Headlock is the final boss of Grand Prix when you play at any level higher than 4, and basically Headlock isn't his own character. He's this weird creation of coils that latches on to other characters and possesses them and powers them up. And so I feel like as soon as Max Brass gets the smash ball, he'll break it open, Headlock flies in, takes over Max Brass, and he does this really powerful final smash attack. And that'll bring us to the final 4. If I was a betting man, which I'm not, I would put money on one of these 4 characters absolutely being the next playable fighter in Super Smash Bros. All 4 of these characters are from the original roster, all 4 of these characters have large fan bases, and all 4 of these characters are absolutely recognizable and have that icon factor that's needed when it comes to putting a new fighter in the game. So let's start with Springman. Yes, Springman is the mascot of the ARMS franchise. He's right there on the cover. He was the very first character ever revealed. Everybody talks about Springman when you're talking about ARMS, but Springman is already an assist trophy in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And while, yes, this is DLC, I don't necessarily think that they are going to actually remove Springman as an assist trophy and put him in as a playable fighter. That has never happened before in the history of the franchise. There have been assist trophies that have upgraded to fighters in future games, arms, such as Isabelle in Smash 4 going into Ultimate, and Little Mac in Brawl going into Smash 4, but I just don't think it's going to happen in the same game. Who knows? Maybe there'll be a workaround. Maybe if you're playing as Springman in Smash Bros. And you use an assist trophy, you just can't summon Springman as an assist trophy if Springman is on the stage. Maybe they'll do that, but I really don't think that's going to be the case, and I think all three of these other characters have stronger fan bases and would be much more unique as the playable ARMS fighter. So coming in at number 3 is Ribbon Girl, the other mascot of the ARMS franchise, another character that probably a lot of people would expect to be the ARMS representative. I actually think Ribbon Girl could be bumped up to the 1 or 2 slot if Ribbon Girl was included with Springman as sort of a 2-for-1 kind of deal. If like the character was just one basic moveset and pretty much played exactly the same, but that the guy skin would be Springman and the girl skin would be Ribbon Girl. I think that'd be kind of cool, but I also think that would sort of take away from what makes Ribbon Girl unique with her multiple jumps in the original game. So I would actually rather see Ribbon Girl included individually, but I do think there's also a really good shot of Ribbon Girl and Springman being a joint character. And that'll bring us to the final 2. These are the 2 characters that I think are the absolute most likely characters to be included in Smash Bros. As the ARMS representative, and that is Min Min and Twintel. I kept going back and forth on who would be number 1 and who would be number 2, and I honestly can't make a decision. I think these 2 characters just work so well individually. They have massive fan bases. They're obviously very recognizable because they're part of the original roster, and they both have really big things working in their favor. First off, in case you haven't played ARMS in a while, Min Min won the big 2nd anniversary Party Crash Bash, and there was tons of artwork drawn of Min Min by the dev team of her holding the belt, and a lot of people just didn't assume this was going to have anything to do with any future games. However, as we've seen with the Splatoon games, the results of things that happen in games sometimes lead to the next entry in that franchise's story, and maybe this Party Crash Bash wasn't leading up to an ARMS 2 at all. Maybe this was leading up to the inclusion of an ARMS character in Smash Bros. Maybe this was planned all along, and if that was the case, then the character would most certainly be Min Min. And while the safe assumption is that the ARMS stage in Smash Bros. Is probably going to be based off of the Spring Stadium stage from ARMS, I actually think it would be really cool to include Min Min's stage, the Ramen Bowl, as the Smash Bros. Stage. It already kind of looks like a Smash Bros. Stage to begin with. I can already visualize the battlefield and Omega platforms on it, and I just love the aesthetic of that stage, and I think it'd be really cool to include the ARMS music and have crowds in the background cheering in that Ramen Bowl stage. But if the results of the ARMS Party Crash Bash really didn't mean anything, then I would definitely put my money on Twintel. I mean, Twintel is one of the biggest fan favorite characters of this current Nintendo generation. People love Twintel, did reaction videos for Twintel when she was first revealed in ARMS, and she's not even the main character in ARMS, but people love her design, people love the character, people love what she stands for, and I am right there with them. I love Twintel. I want Twintel in the game as the playable character, but I know this isn't just my bias talking. Even though if I was going to choose one character to be the ARMS rep, I would choose Twintel, I want to go back to what I brought up earlier with Ninjara, and that is developers basically having a say in which character they want included. And I know that Yabuki and his team love Twintel. They did a whole interview about Twintel. Yabuki-san and his team specifically said that the response to Twintel's reveal was energizing while they were working on the game. They said that they spent a lot more time on Twintel's character and worked a bit harder on her than any of the other characters, and that when they finally put that first video out there and saw people's reactions, it made them very happy and gave them a lot of energy as they were making the game. The only thing that I could somewhat see working against Twintel being included in Smash Bros. Is a technique of hers from the original ARMS game in which she slows down punches and slows down time around her. It's basically like Bayonetta's Witch Time from Smash Bros. And I think if they were going to include Twintel in Smash, they would need to include that mechanic in some way, and Sakurai has gone on record saying that he wants to make each of these new characters feel as different as possible. But you know what, we have a ton of Fire Emblem characters and a lot of them play the same, so what am I talking about? Throw Twintel in there, baby! Twintel for Smash Bros. That is definitely the character that I think is most likely to be the ARMS rep, though I also feel like Min Min has a very strong chance, if not exactly the same chance as Twintel does. But what do you guys think of my ranking? Am I completely off base? Is there a character that was really low on my list that you think is almost definitely going to be the rep? Let me know down in the comments below. Leave a like on this video if you liked anything I had to say and you're excited for an ARMS character being in Smash Bros, because I know I am. Like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye, everybody.